and you can keep doing that, all right? But don't make it much clearer if you do it like that. So I circled my two pluses. That means that that is one term that I first have to simplify. So 2 times a is 2a. Here you have 3 times a is 3a squared, and then plus just an a. All right, so now 2a plus 3a. Remember now you're just adding and subtracting, you need to look for like terms. Okay, so 2a and 3a, no, sorry, 2a and a, those are like terms. So those ones you can add together. So 2a plus 1a is 3a. 3a squared, guys, that is not a like term, so you can't actually put that together. All right, so your final answer is just 3a plus 3a squared. Okay, the next one, 11.5, was a bit of a silly one, I suppose. You had to simplify that fraction. So you'll say 4 divided by 2 is 2. Do you agree with that? And then x squared divided by x is just x. And then you have a plus 6x squared. These are not like terms, so you can't add them together. All right, so that is your final answer for that one. It almost seems like you're supposed to do something more. All right, but don't make them catch you off like that. Those are not like terms, so you can't add them together. All right, any questions so far, guys? And you can move to the side. If you missed anything, you can just ask me at the end to go back to the specific question. All right, 1.6. Right, Barbara says brackets first, if you can. Yes. Thank you. Yes, weird. Why did I do that? Yes. Thank you. I was testing you and you passed, right? Thank you. There we go. 14x squared. Okay, but back to that first line, guys. If you weren't able to simplify that bracket, what would you have to do? So say it was like an x plus 2x squared. And off. Does anyone know? Yes? Yes, you will have to times the 3 into the bracket. Okay, remember that, guys. I can't remember if it came up in either of these two exercises. If you had two terms in your brackets that you can't add together, right? Then you would have to take the number, whatever is in front of the bracket, and times it by the terms, both of them. In this case, we could add those two together, right? X squared plus 2x squared is 3x squared. And then for this one, 5x times x is just 5x squared. Now here, remember if you have a number written next to a bracket like this, that does mean that you're timesing. So 3 times 3x squared is 9x squared, plus 5x squared is then equal to 14x squared. Right, 11.7 was another one where it would have been useful if you circled your pluses. So guys, whenever you see that you have like pluses and times and divides and stuff mixed together, right, then it's a good idea to circle all your pluses and minuses. And then you know everything in between those pluses and minuses, you first have to put it together as one thing before you can start adding and subtracting. Okay, so a times b is just ab. That 2b is already simplified, right? You can't do anything there. B times 3a is 3ab, and that 5a is also already simplified. Okay, once you have it like this, guys, now there's no more multiplication. All right, we've sorted out all the multiplication. Now we can add like terms. So ab plus 3ab, that's 4ab. And then 2b and 5a, those aren't like terms. You can't add those to anything. All right, so we just need to write them in our answer again. Okay, for 11.8, this was also like a BODMAS type question where you have just one plus there. So we have two terms here. Do we agree? This is all one term because it's a bracket and a division symbol. That doesn't separate terms, right? And here, that is also one term because again, it's a bracket and a division symbol. Again, this bracket we can actually simplify. 3a and 5a, those are like terms. So that's 8a. And here, 7b minus 5b, those are like terms. I can actually work that out. That's 2b. Right, if you wanted to, you could circle this plus again because we're not ready to add together yet. We still have to do some simplification. 8a divided by 4, are we okay with that being 2a? Right? And then 2b divided by 2 is just 1b. B. Now, are those two like terms, 2a and b? No, I can't add them. Okay, so that is my final. How are you feeling about this work, guys? Is it getting a bit easier as we're practicing more? Okay, if you still have issues with something specific, then you can always come ask me, right? But we are going to do more practicing. We're not moving on to something new this day. All right, for those two, you just have to divide. So you could have just done top exponent minus bottom exponent if you wanted to, right? Or you could have just said to yourself, there are 5 A's at the top, 3 A's at the bottom. Where do I have more A's? At the top or the bottom? At the top, right? So when I cancel out the 3 A's at the bottom with 3 A's at the top, I'm going to be left with 2 A's at the top. All right, and because there's nothing left at the bottom, guys, it's technically, don't write this now, but it's technically that over 1. But do we write the over 1 in a fraction ever? No. All right, so that's why there's nothing written there, but there is actually a 1 left at the bottom. All right. Same for 11.10, 6 A's at the top, 2 A's at the bottom. Again, I have more A's at the top. So when I cancel out the 2 A's at the bottom with 2 of the 6 A's at the top, I'm going to be left with 4 at the top. Okay, so again, this would be over 1, but we don't write that over 1. Any questions on question 11? All right, let's look at 12. Here you can see the first 3. The 12.1, 12.2, 12.3. The 12.1, guys, you will multiply, right? So you need to ask yourself how many x's are there altogether. Okay, if it's 7 and 6 and 1, do we agree that that's 14? Right? So that answer is x to the power of 14. For the next one, you have 7x times 6x times x. So now, guys, we don't have any like funny exponents, hey? Do we agree that this question is different from the next one? They often do that. They often ask 2 questions where it's something that you might get confused with. All right, where they have like the same numbers in the exponents, and here we have the same numbers in front of the x's. So guys, this is just a 7 and a 6. You just multiply them like you normally would. What's 7 times 6? 42, hey? How many x's do I have? 1, 2, 3. That I'm timesing together. So x to the power of 3. I'm just going to skip ahead to 12.4 quickly because in 12.4 they have the same 3 things, but now they were adding them together. I just want you guys to see the difference between 12.2 and 12.4. All right, if we time them, we take the numbers and we multiply them together normally, but we have 3 x's that we're multiplying together, so that's x to the power of 3. Remember, when you times, you change the exponent. In 12.4, we are now adding them together. So now I'm going to change the number in front. Right? You guys remember that? What's 7 plus 6 plus 1? 14. And 14 what? 14x, okay? So 14x is your answer. All right. So it's important, guys, that you do understand the difference between these 2 questions. 12.3, in between these 2 here, where do you have more x's, at the top or the bottom? At the top, there we go. So when I cancel out the 4 x's at the bottom with 4 of the 12 at the top, I'm going to be left with 8 at the top. Right, so x to the 8. Okay, 12.5 was similar to 12.3, but now where do I have more x's in this 12.5? At the bottom, right? So that's the difference between 12.3 and 12.5. So when I cancel out the 4 x's at the top with 4 of the 12 x's at the bottom, I'm going to be left with 8 x's at the bottom. And then what is left at the top then if I've canceled everything out? A 1. Okay, so this is an important one, guys, especially the difference between these 2. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, you can't just write the line and yeah, you have to put the one in. Okay, can I move on to the next half? 12.6. There we go, 12.6. Guys, anything multiplied by 0 is just 0. Hey, did you know that? We've done that. We did that in primary school, I'm sure. So guys, it can be multiplied by any complicated thing. All right, they can say 0 times and then a whole fraction that you can simplify. You don't even have to. As soon as you see 0 times anything, the answer is just 0. Yes. So 0x is 0. 0x, it's not wrong, it's just not the full final answer. Because if you think of 0x, right, that is actually the same as 0 times x, which again is just 0. Okay, so you can write that, but your final answer has to be 0.
What is the exponent of 0?
The exponent is 0, then that gives you an answer of 1.
And how do you calculate that?
No, so what do you mean? What exponent way of the x?
X and to the power of 0. Then how? And then the 5,000.
Because an exponent and a quotient and the number is not the same. Remember we said that x to the 0 is 1 because if you have x squared over x squared and you use your minus rule, you get x to the 0 like that. But we know that anything divided by itself is just 1. So it's from this that anything to the power of 0 is 1. But if you have 0 times something, that's something different. Right, so